Right after the break, Telstra's venture capital unit invests in C88, which is a fintech company that's got big plans for the Philippines. A chat with the founder of C88 next. This is Starting Gate. Australian telco giant Telstra may have backed out of a deal with San Miguel, but that doesn't mean it's no longer interested in the Philippines. Its venture capital arm recently invested in eCompareMo.com, which is a consumer finance website here. Joining me to talk more is JP Ellis, C88 co-founder and CEO. JP, good to have you on the set with us. Just to clear things up, because there are a lot of names we are bandying about today. Telstra Ventures invested in C88, which owns and operates a number of financial sites here in Indonesia, but it's for an undisclosed, and that's who you're part of, C88.
That's
However,
right, yes.
it's for an undisclosed Series B funding. Are you guys now in a position to disclose that amount?
No, we're still keeping it quiet, but we're very, very thrilled to have Telstra Ventures on board. Obviously, they're a great technology company. They have a huge presence in Asia-Pac, and their venture capital unit is starting to ramp up now. And I believe we're one of the first companies, if not the first, that they've partnered with in the Southeast Asia region. So we're absolutely thrilled.
Right. I was just going to point that out. Only the fourth such investment Telstra's made in Asia over the last 12 months.
Indeed.
All across Asia. Most of that interest is going to China and India, I suppose. What do you think was your winning proposition was?
So I think there's a new word kind of being bandied about now, which is called fintech, financial technology. And basically the internet and digital and mobile creates a new distribution channel for financial institutions, investment institutions, insurance companies. And the Southeast Asia region is one of the most dynamic and exciting. There's three reasons why I think this is actually very big and why investors are very excited. The first one is the demographics of this region. The average Filipino, the average Indonesian is just like young. They're like 28 years old, and what are you doing?
Mobile, educated.
Exactly, right. The financial products themselves are actually growing. If you're in the UK or the United States, having a 3% growth rate in bank assets is already like tremendous. Here, if you're not doing like 20%, it's kind of like a kind of a sin, right?
Fantastic growth margins there.
And then the third one is just obviously kind of internet penetration, smartphone is just actually going up. So all of this creates a new distribution channel, which actually for financial institutions doesn't exist at the moment. So for all these reasons, I believe Telstra and our other partners were very interested and keen to join.
Let me ask you something I ask every startup that we put on the hot seat. Where's this fresh capital going?
Number one, team building, right? Kind of a technology company is all the assets walk out the door and go home to their families at the end of the day. So we absolutely want to build the team. We absolutely consider ourselves...
Here in the Philippines?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, most of our technology development is actually done here. So we have about 50 full-time software developers who create these services and engines and components, and all of our engineering is actually based here. So we're very, very keen, and we're very excited about being here.
So all of that money is going to team building?
Team building, obviously marketing is going to be a big one, and continued research and innovation in product. So we want to come out with things, for example, artificial intelligence, robo-advisory, chatbots, all these things to actually automate the customer service proposition, make it friendlier, faster, and available 24/7 without human error.
Some very exciting products there you're looking to roll out. In a previous article, you were quoted as saying that eCompare's market share was about 60%. I was wondering if you could define that market share for me. Are we talking about just consumers who are looking for financial help online, or that's the overall market of consumers that need financial services?
So we're talking there specifically about the only online market. So that kind of our view of it is that's search volume. So if you're actually looking at 100 given people who are looking online for some sort of a financial services solution, at the moment about 60 of them are actually going to come to us to find some sort of an answer to their need.
So eCompare's basic value proposition is that you connect borrowers with lenders. And in a country like the Philippines, there's a bit of an interesting dichotomy, because it is very much so the people who need financial services the most that don't have access to computers. Any initiatives around that so-called banking the unbanked, so to speak?
You're making a great point. And this is the whole pyramid structure of a lot of the emerging economies. In the United States, you know, a major bank has a product for the A class as well as the D class. Here, it's very much more structured. So how we think about our partners and how we think about our kind of inventory management is we'd like to have a product that matches every single strata of society. So obviously you have the top name international banks that are going to, let's say, the urban kind of affluent, already carded customers. That's the obvious. But we also work with other institutions who are interested in actually going a little bit more deeper in the demographic pyramid. And we don't only do it around loans, we also do it around savings, deposits. We also handle a lot of insurance, as well as micro-insurance, like a dengue fever insurance, and all sorts of things like that. So we really consider ourselves a financial supermarket that's open 24/7 and can help customers make the best possible choice.
Financial supermarket, that's an interesting term. But how does that work for those people who do not have cards nor access to smartphones or mobile devices?
So yeah, obviously they have to be online. That's one of the key things. And that's why our addressable market continues to grow, because it's being pushed by as more people go online. I would say that, a couple years ago, there was still, as recently as 2013, McKinsey studies on Southeast Asia were suggesting that lack of confidence and lack of being just plugged in was actually limiting e-commerce growth in the region. But if you look at the 2016 version of that report, which came out 3 weeks ago, that no longer is a barrier. So I think a couple years ago, we were still talking about people aren't online necessarily. Okay, maybe there's still kind of confidence issues with online transactions. It appears that kind of a scenario over the past 3 years has kind of evaporated. So consumers are transacting online. You could look at the numbers from the traditional e-commerce players, the online travel agents, as well as this new kind of category of fintech and financial supermarkets.
And building on that point, precisely because there is so much untapped market potential there are more and more startups, Filipino startups, wading into
That's right.
what you called the fintech space.
That's right.
How are you guys gearing up for increased competition?
Well, competition, you could look at it that way. We could also look at it as solidarity, right? In Indonesia, where we're very big, also C88 under the brand name C88.com. It means the same thing as eCompareMo. We've actually been instrumental in bringing the fintech community together, and we've launched the Indonesia Fintech Association. And what this association does is it looks from investment, insurance, credit, and it actually creates policy papers and policy recommendations. And so we anticipate working with other fintech companies here to hopefully create a similar framework where we can then engage the appropriate bodies and talk about how can we create a set of technology policies that creates an equitable and transparent financial services market for exactly the reasons that you said. A lot of Filipinos are still struggling with access to these products.
So there is that growing market share. All right, fantastic insights. We're going to have to leave it there. JP Ellis, co-founder and CEO of C88. Congratulations on your fundraising.
Hey, thank you.